Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the final session of Summer School 2020. We're so glad to have you all here with us today. My name is Kinsey Keck. I am the Programming and Membership Manager for the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. The Roundtable is a grassroots service organization that works to improve and advance the state of arts education through professional development workshops, advocacy, and online resources and platforms to connect the arts education field. The Roundtable has been thrilled to host Summer School 2020 as a free hands-on summer workshop series. We were able to offer the series at no cost due in large part to the support of the New York Community Trust. So a big thank you goes out to them. And thank you all so much again for joining us today for The Joy of Art, Art Making for the Whole Family, Act 3. If you are having trouble with Zoom, please refer to the one sheet that was forwarded to you with the login information for today's call. We can pop a link to that in the chat box as well if you need it. This is a reminder to please keep yourself on mute unless you are the person speaking. We do encourage you to use the chat box to ask questions, share resources, and connect with other participants. The chat box transcript will be saved and shared in a follow-up email after the session. This call does include closed captioning. To activate this setting, please click the link, the little arrow next to the closed captioning button on the bottom of your toolbar and select Show Subtitles. In that same menu is a subtitle setting. You can adjust the size of your captions there. Just a note that unfortunately this setting does not work while we are in our breakout rooms, but you will have access to those captions while we're here in the main room. Finally, this session will be recorded. We will post the recording on our website, YouTube, and Vimeo channels. We will also aggregate any resources that come up during the session. A link to the recording and all of those materials will be emailed to registrants in the coming days. Now I'm going to hand it over to a member of our Roundtable Programming Committee who is responsible for bringing you this session today. So Jacqueline, take it away.
Thanks, Kinsey. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Raymond-Weichman. I am co-chair of the Roundtable's Programming Committee. I'm also a theater teaching artist and co-founder of the nonprofit organization International Girls Ensemble. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our final session of our summer school Joy of Art series today. We are so excited to bring you this Choose Your Own Adventure art making workshop. So today we have the pleasure of working with some fantastic facilitators. We have Lisa Green, who is the director of the dance and music department at DreamYard Project, and museum educator Gabriella Kula from Poster House. The goal of the event today is to just come together as our arts ed community and to experience some joy, hopefully, and connectivity through art making. So before we split, I would love to hand it over to Lisa for our warm up for everyone to participate in.
I'm not on mute this time. Hi, everyone. It's so good to see you all and experience you virtually. So I always love to ground the space with breath. I think that's really important to connect us all and have us be in a more present place. So if I can ask you to indulge me and allow your shoulders to drop down and find a nice comfortable seat. You can allow your eyes to close from top to bottom. And then breathe in, take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale all the air out. Good, breathing in. And exhale. And one more time, breathing in. And then exhale all the air out. Good, if the eyes are closed, you can gently bring them open. That always works. It works. Breathing works. So one of the things that has really grounded me during this time is, well, definitely reading. But I read Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Maree Brown. And so there's a passage in it that really struck me and just hit home. And I really wanted to, it's been infusing my work and just having me realign. And so I wanted to offer that to you all today. And so you're going to take a moment to read this passage for yourself, taking your time. I have about 2 minutes to read that. And then we're going to go into some meditative writing. So you can go ahead and take a moment to read that now. Hopefully you've had a second to take that in. There's so much of it actually that was impactful for me, and hopefully it resonates for you all in some way. But I'd love to then go into more unpacking. So now we're going to go into meditative writing. And in that writing, there's 3 prompts, and we'll go to the next slide. Just make sure that I can see these. So the first is, imagine yourself as water. How are you flowing in this moment? Describe. Are your waters choppy, calm, turbulent, etc.? The second prompt, what is your imprint? What would you like to contribute and offer to your community? And know that your community, you can have many communities. So there's not just one that you may want to highlight. And the last one is, where do we go from here? Which is the question, I think, of this year, is where do we go from here? And so with these 3 prompts, you can take 2 minutes and you can choose one. And then you're just going to write as much or as little as you like, but just take a moment to meditatively write, and then we'll have some music going on in the background for you. And then we'll come back and maybe share a word that you might want to offer to the collective. Okay, so we can turn up the music a little bit. Good. And begin now. And let's come back to the whole group. Thank you. So I know it's like once you get to first, you're like, well, what should I write? And then you're like, wow, time's up already. So these are, prompts that you may want to come back to and continue writing on. But it's nice to center ourselves in writing and just having time to get our feelings out. It's a practice that I love to do. So is there anyone that would like to maybe and we can put it in the chat, if there's any one of the prompts that you chose, is there a word, like maybe what your water's looking like, that you want to highlight in the chat and maybe share, or just any writing, any piece of what you wrote that might highlight, inspire something for the group, or just to share within the group. Ooh, smashing, crashing waves on a rock cliff. Yes, I'm taking that one actually. Raindrops pitter patter, but with a purpose. Ooh, I love that one. And I'm, dancer, I'm gonna make this into a piece. Only connect. Guidance to gentle compassion, gentle guidance, yes. Yeah, these are wonderful. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. How are we doing on time? We're ready to move on?
Yeah, you can continue to put these in the chat. They'll be saved. So even if we don't have a chance to reflect on them at this moment, that will be shared out afterwards. So in just a minute, we're going to head into our breakout rooms. So I have almost everyone sorted. There's about 3 people who will be left in this room with me, and I'll just ask you to either say out loud, you can come off of mute and say what room you'd like to be in, or you can type it in the chat and I'll get you sorted really quickly. We're going to be in there for 30 minutes and then we'll come all back together to share a little bit and close as a group. So if you end up in the wrong room, don't worry, just hop right back into the main room and I'll get you where you need to be. And I am just going to make sure we're ready. Okay, here we go.
So if you would just take a moment to open up your chat and type in your definition of a poster or something that comes to mind when you hear the word poster, I'll read out a few of the interesting things that I see. So go for it. Yeah, a visual with a message. That's absolutely correct. Graphic representation of a position or an idea. Yeah, combining text and graphics, absolutely, for a purpose. And I love that somebody just said, meant for the world. This is important because there are categories of ephemera that are similar to posters, but actually aren't displayed publicly. Posters must be displayed publicly in order to be considered posters. So it seems like you know this, but I'll just go through kind of the way we define posters. So they got their start in the Industrial Revolution because they're meant to sell something. Historically, they sold products. Now they also sell events. They sell ideas. They sell political movements. They sell justice. They have to speak quickly and effectively, and I want you to hold on to that idea because symbols play a huge role in posters and also in the creating that we're going to do today. They are primary sources because they tell the people's history, so they're not actually meant to be artworks, although museums certainly do collect them now, but they're really made by the people and for the people's consumption. They have to be public facing. Somebody said that. They combine words and images. Many of you said that. They bridge the worlds of art and design, art being something that's for aesthetic purposes or for conceptual purposes, and design being something we use on a regular basis. And then, like I mentioned before, they're not other forms of ephemera. They're really public facing, or else don't fall into the category of posters. So I want to do a deep dive into this poster, which is a poster that we also focus in on in that educator guide that I had previously showed you a little logo for. This should be familiar to many of you. This is for Woodstock. And the very first question that I'm going to ask, and because we're quite a few people, I'll ask you to put it into the chat, even though I wish that we were sitting together in person and we could just be having a conversation, but it's a little more complicated on Zoom, is just what do you notice? What do you see? What strikes you? Go ahead, type it into the chat. I see somebody said a dove. Yeah, a dove, because, go for it, Carol. Peace. Grace says peace. Yeah, a dove is peace. And of course, this is 3 days of peace and music. And so we have the dove as the symbol. Intense colors, big shapes. Why these intense colors? Why these big shapes? Why not small details, let's say? Yeah, these flat color images, and that gets to the process of making this poster, the process of making posters, which I'll get into in a little bit. And yeah, these bright colors and simple, clear images like a dove, which we all know stands for peace, are attractive from afar. They're loud, they grab attention. This is what I see folks saying in the chat. And how about the words? Any comments on the words? Oh, looks homemade. Interesting. There actually is a reason for that I will explain in a moment too. Any other comments about this? Oh, that's nice, Grace. I hadn't noticed that. So the keywords tie in to the dove. They connect. There's a parallel between the dove and the words because of their color. There are 3 levels of words, or there are different levels of words. So there's the biggest words, which really grab you. This is what you need to know. You absolutely need to know. Smaller words that if you're really interested in the details, if you might consider attending the event, you would want to read. So there's what you see first. And there's a question about its making. I did not believe that the original was silkscreen. I believe that the original was some kind of lithography. But here, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So this was created by Bill Graham, and oops, let me see if I can. I'm sorry, Bill Graham was asked David Byrd to create the poster for the Woodstock Festival, but it got rejected. It's kind of a woman in an Art Nouveau style, the original poster. And at the last minute, they hired a different artist, Arnold Skolnick, to make what now became kind of one of the most famous posters in history. And so it was actually made at the very last minute and not in the intended way. And so just kind of one day using simple cut paper symbols. And so when you say that it feels homemade, there's really a reason for that. It isn't actually thought out, drawn out process of making this poster. And everyone here probably knows that Woodstock was one of the greatest festivals of all time, and it was really all not just about music, but about the hippie lifestyle, which includes, of course, anti-war activism, and as they say, you know, in the poster's tagline, peace and love. And so in this spirit of love and peace and freedom, we're going to listen to some songs of that nature, and we're also going to make our own posters. There'll be mini posters because we're using kind of at-home materials, and most of us don't have poster board at home, but I'm sure you all have paper with you. That includes stamping. And the reason why we're going to use stamping is because it's a type of printmaking, and posters are historically always printed because generally you'd want to have lots and lots of them so they could be posted in many places. So there are occasions where there are hand-painted posters, but most often they are printed historically with stone lithography, then photo offset, silk screen, and now printing. Digital printing is pretty common as well. So you can see a little image here. I asked some students to participate in this project, and one of my students was interested in racial justice, and specifically, this is actually years ago, even before Black Lives Matter movement officially began. And this was the symbol that she created for racial justice. This was a foam stamp versus a cardboard stamp like we're creating today. So ours won't be in quite as much detail. But if you could just take a minute to make sure you have the items listed here so that we can create our own symbols and our own backgrounds for posters, that would be great. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to gather if you haven't. And now I'm going to escape out of my screen share so that I can see you. Can you see me now? Yeah, okay, I see some nods. And I'll pull back up the instructions before I set you free. But I want right now for you to brainstorm a cause that matters to you. I see some people saying, that they don't have stamp pads, and that's okay. If you aren't going to be stamping today, I'll offer you a drawing prompt that will get you into this theme of social justice. But brainstorm a cause that matters to you, and maybe you'll inspire your fellow participants by popping that that cause into the chat. So type a cause into the chat, a cause that matters to you. A quiet bunch. Gender equity, voting, taking care of our earth. Immigration, mental health, excellent. Reducing mass supervision, probation and parole issues specifically. Just give me a thumbs up if you feel ready for the next step here. Okay, great. And I want you to sketch out your symbol on a scrap piece of paper. Sketch out your symbol on a scrap piece of paper. I suggest that you choose a simple symbol, and I suggest this because with this process of stamping with cardboard, if you make really tiny details, they often get lost or even smudge. So you can see that my stamp, which I'll get into the details of how you make the stamp in a moment, my stamp looks like this, or this is before I put ink on it, after I put ink on it. So it's just a simple heart. I made another sample stamp. It looks like this. So there's a little more detail to it, but still no layering. So I'm going to ask you to create a simple symbol because the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your cardboard. You're going to measure out a 2x2 square. So that's like this size. You can see it in comparison to me, 2x2 square. And you will, in fact, if you make two 2x2 squares, that will be your best bet, because then you can cut out of one of your 2x2 squares your symbol, paste it onto your other, and then you'll know it will fit. So 2 2x2 squares, go for it. So while you're cutting your 2x2 squares, I'm just gonna hold, oops, that didn't work that well. Let me see if I can share my screen again with you. So we're gonna share our work at the end, and this is my sample poster for you. This is just with a regular stamp pad and with the stamps that we're about to make together. But I want you to get the feeling for what this process looks like. You're not gonna get anything exact or accurate. It's a playful printing process, a simple printing process. So you can see my cardboard lines, but you can still see my basic shape, which was a heart. And now I'm going to stop sharing so I can keep talking you through this. So you should have your two squares. Out of one of your squares, you should cut your symbol. And then you should paste it to your other square. So I'm doing it now with you so I have a sense of your timing. And once you've cut out your symbol, take your glue stick and glue your symbol to your remaining 2x2. Can you see this? Is my image clear enough? So your symbol gets glued, okay, I see some thumbs up there. Your symbol gets glued to your 2x2 square. Now, if you're not printing today because you don't have a stamp pad, then you can just draw your symbol, and you can draw it as many times as you'd like on your paper. If you are printing, however, I want you to just hold tight on that action because I want to give your stamp a moment to dry out. And I'd like everybody to think about the words they'd like to include on their poster. So if you remember the Woodstock poster, the words were very simple: 3 days of peace and music. There is a lot of smaller worded sections, but the most important words were huge and simple. Everyone would know what this was about just by looking at them. 3 days of peace and music. So you'll have to think for a second about what kind of poster you're creating, whether you're creating a poster for a concert, you know, an imagined concert, whether you're creating a poster that's voicing an important value you have for a rally or a protest that you're going to, whether you are creating a poster that's for an idea that's important to you, and perhaps you'll post it in your window for all to see. In Brooklyn, this is pretty popular these days. So think of your words. What words are you going to want to join with this symbol for your poster? After all, we did say, this is one of the things many people mentioned, that posters are combinations of words and images. So take about 30 seconds to get your words going. You may want to jot them down so you remember them. And now I want you to practice using your stamp on your scrap piece of paper. Because I want to make sure that you feel satisfied with your product before you you really get to printing. So what I would recommend you do is not work in air like I'm working, instead actually work up against a table, but I just want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So you need to press really, really hard. You're pressing your stamp really, really hard into the ink, and then really, really hard onto your paper. And there you can see my print. I have some wild sunlight in the background here, so hopefully you can see my print. So you're pressing your stamp really intensely into the ink, then you're pressing your stamp really intensely onto the page, and you can print it as many times as you want. Remember, this is just your practice. When you feel like you're a pro at printing your stamp, you may want to take a fresh piece of paper and print it however you think you'll want it on your actual poster.
Gabriella, did you want me to play some music?
I'm gonna hang tight on the music until I have everyone going.
Gotcha. Just to let you know, there's about 8 minutes left.
Yeah, so let's play the music then. Thanks for the heads up.
Sure.
Good to have collaborators in these things. So we're gonna get some songs of justice and love and freedom here. Thanks, Kenzie. If you aren't printing, you may consider the way you want to draw your symbol onto your poster. And once you are fully printed, then I'm going to invite you to write your words atop your poster. Nice. Oh, I like this. So folks who don't have stamp pads can still participate in this without the printing symbol and your words, kind of as separate entities. Maybe you can even tape your symbol, do your symbol onto your page. I'm going to pull the instructions up so that you can see them. And I'll give everybody just a few minutes to work before we come together and share some of what we've done. Uh-oh, seems like we maybe lost the music in my screen share. Oops. Kinsey, I don't hear the music, but is that maybe because I'm screen sharing?
Yes, that is why. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Oh well. You know what I'll do? I'll send everybody the, I want you to be able to see the instructions right now, just in case you're going back and trying to figure out exactly where we were when I was giving the instructions, but I'll send out that playlist so that you can listen to it later on. It's a short playlist with a few powerful songs. Oh, in fact, Kinsey actually just sent it out for us. And I'll play it from the background here. So you have about 2 more minutes for creating this draft, and the cool thing is you can use this stamp as many times as you want. It really doesn't ever go bad, so you can continue to use it after our program too. If you are finished and you have a song about justice or freedom that you particularly love, perhaps you'll put that into the chat now, and I can add it to the playlist so that when I pass along the playlist after the program, it'll include all of your ideas too. I'll pass along these instructions as well so that if you'd like to recreate this project at another point, you have access to them. And I see people are starting to put in information about their posters. So I'm going to invite a few people to share now. Is there anyone who would like to share their poster? We won't have time to respond to each other, but perhaps a few people want to hold up their poster to the screen, tell us what you chose as your symbol. Oh, check it out, Jacqueline, go for it. Would you mind talking about yours?
Oh no, you picked me. No, I'm just kidding.
You asked for it.
So I chose, sorry, I was making it about pay equity for women. And so I had some stickers that I played with as my symbol. And then I did some layering, and I don't have a stamp. So I wrote instead, I think I wrote ladies, and this says hustle here.
I like your creative use of materials, particularly in light of the fact that the Woodstock poster was made from paper cuts. So there's a connection there. There's a few people whose cameras aren't on. If you're still invited to share if you'd be willing to turn on your camera. And then there's a few people whose cameras are on. Maybe you'd be willing to share. Madeline?
Yes. I don't know if you can see it because.
Yeah, hold it a little bit closer, and if you can basically take it from the top and
okay,
that would be great for us. Oh, nice. Vote with check marks. Vote, vote. Vote for our democracy. Tell us about it.
I was thinking of check marks. I don't have the cardboard or the, well, I have cardboard, but I don't have the stamps. But I think the stamps would be good. And just that the check mark looks like a V, but you, in a kind of old school voting situation, you might check something off. And I'm very worried about it right now. So this would be all these causes are incredibly valuable, but that's the one I'm actually working on right now.
Well, thank you for working on that actively for us. And I like that even though you didn't have access to the stamp, you still used the motif over and over again.
Yeah.
Just a heads up for everyone, we have about 40 seconds left in the room before we're going to be put back to the main room.
Sounds good. Anupama, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Please correct me if I didn't. Would you like to share?
Yes, this is for Sea of Visibility. I made a stamp with the way you said with the cardboard, but I used watercolor as the ink. And so this is to the visibility, to bring visibility to people with invisible disabilities, which I'm working on as a my own thing.
Thank you.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, so you have, a pillow, blanket, if you have some books to prop, and we're gonna breathe. So we're gonna get into, so we'll start with, I'll move back so that you can see me more, but for now, you're just gonna allow the chin to come down to your chest, and then allow it to come up to the ceiling. And then one more time, bring your chin to your chest. And then exhale. Good. One more time, chin to chest. And exhale, release. Good. And then allow the ear to come to the right shoulder. And then inhale, exhale over to the left shoulder. Good. One more time, over to the right side. And then over to the left. And then allow your left hand to come to your right ear, and then you can allow your ear to come down to your shoulder just a little bit more, and just feel that the side of the neck and how the side of the body is finding its more stretch. And also observing where you feel any tension coming over to the other side. And then bring your hand to the other ear, bring your ear down to your shoulder. And then interlace your fingers and then press them forward. And then allow the hands to come behind the head. It's like you're making a little pillow. And then you're gonna inhale and lift, and then allow the head to come back like you're relaxing on a hammock. And then bring your elbows down towards your chest, down towards the earth. And then back to center. Allow the hands to slowly come down to your sides. Good. Inhale, the arms up, breathing in. And then exhale, press. Good. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, press. Good. Inhale, one more time, bring your arms up. And exhale, press. And then bring the palms to touch the center of your heart space. And so I'm just gonna bring a little sound into the space. And so I'm gonna just chant one Om, and you can chant with me if you like, to yourself silently, but I just wanna bring in a little sound to resonate in the body. So you're gonna breathe all the air in. Exhale fully. Inhale if you'd like to join me on Om. Allow the palms to come down to your thighs. Then bring your chin to your chest. And gently crack the eyes open. So a simple practice, and if you have a ritual that you do or a routine that you do every day, it could be as simple as that. Just breathing and stretching the arms, circling the head, rolling the shoulders, doing all that body connection as soon as you wake up in the morning to kind of start the day lubricating the joints, and allowing the breath to start to move fluidly in the body. I love to get up and meditate and stretch in the morning. I also offer to my staff team. We do yoga every week. So a consistent practice for me, I found, has been imperative during this time, especially since we've been, sitting a lot, looking at the screen. It's good to just even just connect to the eyes, like circling the eyes and then looking side to side, looking up and diagonal, like really just, also working our eye muscles in a different way too, because we're so deeply in the screen. So I just want to just check in and see how everyone is. If there's a thumbs up, how you are, everyone, thumbs up, great. Awesome. Wonderful. So I will be playing music, and the challenge is kind of hearing me too. So I'll, and you can let me know in the chat if the music is off for you, but once I put you in the position, you'll be there for a while and you won't have to worry about my voice happening. So, okay. So right now, you can come to, I'll come back to my mat. Hopefully you can still hear me. You're gonna come to all fours, if you can. If you need something underneath your knees, please, place a blanket underneath if you need to. But we're just gonna come to all fours and we're gonna do a little cat-cow. So you're gonna tuck the toes and lift the chest. And then bring your chin to your chest and lift it back up towards the ceiling, untuck the toes. Good, inhale. Good, bring the belly towards the earth. Exhale, bring it back towards the ceiling. Good, inhale, tuck the toes, lift up. And then exhale, release. And then now you can move your ribcage side to side. You can move the hips side to side. You can do some circles, whatever you feel like your body might need right now. And just gently allow the breath to motivate each movement. And if there's a place that you really feel you want to dig into more, if you're sitting back and, ooh, that stretch feels really good, then you can stay there for a moment too. You don't have to change with me. And then take a moment to settle back into child's pose, stretching the hands forward, allowing your buttocks to come down towards your heels, and then allow the crown to come down to the earth and breathe. Good. And stay there for a moment, and you can open the legs as much as you need to give more space to the belly. And enjoy your breath here. Allow the inhale and the exhale to be equal and even. That's it. And then gently come up, and you can come to sit. And you're gonna come onto your back. Okay. So once I place you here, I'm gonna come close to the screen so I can guide you in the breath work, but allow your body. And so if you need something under your legs, you can. If the feet are, the knees are bent and the feet are flat onto the mat or the floor, the earth, and then allow your hands to come in any comfortable position at your sides. Yes, I'm just coming to check on you all. Yes, wonderful. So I'm going to guide you in a little connection of the breath, a 3-part breath. So as you're lying down, you're going to place your hands onto your belly, and you're going to breathe in and let the belly expand into your hands, and then exhale and let the belly expand away from your hands. And breathe in and exhale. And now allowing the hands to come to the rib cage. And so we are 3-dimensional, and we have to allow the breath to come in all parts of the body. So really breathing into the rib cage, expanding out to the side, and then exhale, release like you're wearing a corset or have a belt around your ribs, and let it come in towards the center. And breathe in. And then exhale out. And then allow the hands to come to just underneath the collarbones at the top of the chest. And breathe into the top of the chest, breathing in. And exhale. Inhaling here. and exhaling out. So now I'm going to guide you. So you're going to do a 3-part breath. So breathing in from the belly, ribs, into the top of the chest. And then we're going to exhale from the top of the chest to the ribs and then down to the belly. So each moment is going to be 2 counts, and I'll guide you through that. So you can have you can place the hands on each part if you'd like, or you can allow the hands to come down to your sides as I guide you. Okay, so exhale, let all the air out. So you're going to breathe into the belly. Keep the breath there, hold it. Breathe into the ribs. Hold it, breathe into the top of the chest. Keep holding the breath, and now we're going to exhale from the top of the chest, down to the ribs, and then down to the belly. Good. One more time, breathing into the belly. Breathe into the ribs, keep your breath going, don't let it out yet. Breathe into the top of the chest. Sustain that. Now exhale from the top of the chest, down to your ribs, and down to your belly. So now you can just allow the hands to come down to the sides. And so we tend to kind of do a panic breath where we breathe into our chest automatically, and we need to give more energy to our diaphragm and breathing into our full body. So this is just an exercise that also can help you calm down if you're feeling anxious. You can do it before bedtime. You can do it when you wake up. You can do it anytime when you're feeling a little bit unsteady, and come back to your center. So just allow your eyes to close there. And you're going to be here for just a couple of moments. So allow yourselves to do less now. Connecting to your breath. Connecting to your wave. Allowing your waters to be calm. Allowing the eyes to soften, allowing the tongue to come to the bottom palate of your mouth. Be here now. Okay, slowly deepen your breath. Take a deep breath in. And then you can take the arms overhead and stretch, and you can allow the legs to come straight and stretch your body from top to bottom. So reaching your hands behind you, stretch, and letting the feet come down and stretch in both directions. Reaching the right side longer than the left side. Reaching the right side longer than the left and left longer than the right. And if you like, you can take a gentle hug of the knees into the chest. We're going to transition into the next posture. So I'll demonstrate and I'll come back. So you're going to come onto your bellies now, and if that is right for you today. So we're going to come on. So we were activating the breath on the back, and we're opening, the front part of the body, which is very vulnerable, and sometimes it's a very intimidating space. But now we're going to take it over to the belly and breathe into the belly. And so you can, if you need a blanket, we're going to come onto our bellies, and you can allow both legs to be straight behind you. You can take one leg that's up, your knee is up like an L shape, and you can bring a little blanket or pillow to prop underneath, and then you're just going to allow the body to come flat. Okay, and we're going to do both sides. So if you want to, you're coming on to lifting the right knee up and the right's up to the side, you can do that. Yes, so far, yes, exactly. And so when you're on your side, yeah, it's one knee, and then the left leg is straight. Okay, so one knee is bent, one leg is straight, and you're on the belly. And so you can so both hands are on top of the other. And if you want to have your head to the side, you can do that, or you can have your forehead on top of your hands. So again, I want you to find the most comfortable place for you. And so if something is not feeling right, it definitely is time to adjust, because you'll be here for a moment, and I want you to be able to breathe freely. And so far, everyone looks great. And please let me know if anything comes up for you all, but you all look wonderful and ready to breathe some more. Okay, so allow yourselves to be here. And so there is an art to self-care, and giving yourself the space right now is essential. So allow yourselves to be, and the mind will fluctuate. Allow that to happen with no judgment. And if you want to find a word, or if there's an intention you'd like to continue to set as you breathe here, please do. My intention for you is to do less. So the breath may feel different here. Allow yourselves to adjust and take your time to bring calm to the front of the body and the back of the body. Breathe into the back of the body. Gently make your way to the other side, taking your time. So gently stretch both legs back, and you can, if you need to sit back in child's pose for a moment or shake it out, please do so, but allow yourself to come to the other side, stretching the other leg up. Take your time. Gentle and easeful breath. And gently and easefully stretch both legs and come into a child's pose. And we're going to gently roll onto our backs. And I would love more time with you all. And this is just a snapshot of what restorative can be. You can definitely hold these poses a lot longer. And we could be here for more time, but we're gonna be zoomed back to a different world in a little bit. So allowing yourselves to come onto your back, and we're gonna take a Shavasana now. Okay. Thank you, Kim. So in this position now, so you can bring something under your knees if you'd like. If you have any lower back pain, it's nice to have a pillow to prop up your legs. And if you want something under your neck, you can do that. You can roll a little pillow, roll a towel, or place a little pillow that's not too high, but allowing yourselves to be supported. Okay. And so we're gonna have a bit more nice juicy time here in Shavasana. And so allowing the hands to come down to your sides. And so I should take a moment and just squeeze, make a fist with both hands. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then exhale, release. Now squeeze your toes, squeeze your fingers, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Now tense your whole body, make it tense your whole body. Your face muscles, everything, your tummy, your legs, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then exhale, release. And allow everything to melt into the earth. So maybe if your waters were feeling a little turbulent when we started, kind of observing where your body, your mind, your body, and your spirit is right now. And knowing that we can achieve this space whenever we give ourselves the permission to tap into it. So I'll allow you to be in a more quiet space now, and I'll stop talking. Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts whenever your mind becomes scattered. Use your breath as the means to take hold of your mind again. Rest and self-care are so important. When you take time to replenish your spirit, it allows you to serve others from the overflow. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. Allow yourself to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle the toes. Allow yourselves to gently come back into the space. If you'd like, you can hug your knees into your chest. And you can allow yourself to come to the right or left side. And gently make your way up to a comfortable seat. So I like to just close the practice with gratitude. Thank you for giving yourself permission to be in this space with us as a collective and with me today. It's just so important that we take this time for ourselves. There is an art to self-care, and I'm determined to keep it and make it paramount in my work. This work, we cannot do it without the replenishment. 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes will make the world of difference. So hopefully if you didn't get to do that today, this was your space. But thank you so much. And we might get zoomed away, but if anyone has anything they'd like to share, namaste.
Looks like you have at least a minute. So if anybody has.
Yeah. I was getting nervous because I could be here. I would just go over. And then all of a sudden we'd be in the, I'm like, everyone's lying down. Like, why are they lying down? But yeah. Oh, yes. Amanda?
Could you talk about doing this with the staff and how you do it with,
oh, how I do it with my staff team?
Yeah, you do it with the staff team.
Yeah. So because I do teach yoga, I offer to our staff. So at lunch hour, we do every Wednesday from like 12 to 1. And I was doing it when we were live in person in our space, but I definitely made sure that once we went online that I still offered it. So yeah, and so they allow for that. They allow us to come in and allow me that space that I can do that, give us an hour break, and everyone can jump in whenever you can, however often you can, and we do it a consistent practice. And it's been really great, especially as a collective too, for us to kind of work together and be together, to breathe together has been really, really important.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Grateful for the space. Yeah, it's a lot of work, this self-care, to maintain it, to be consistent with it. It's such a, we are hardwired to do all the other things that are challenging. And so we have to rework our mind, bodies, and spirits to come into this space. But yeah, it's so essential. And I didn't think it would feel as connected as it does.
Sorry if that was jarring for anyone.
It's okay.
It always is. But welcome back, everybody, to the main room. I hope you've had a joyful and interesting last 30 minutes. So just really quickly, Lisa and Gabriella, would you like to share with the other folks on the call what you did in your rooms before we do a little reflection and closing?
Sure. I'll jump in first. We did less. We were breathing and connecting, taking time to connect to our breath, our bodies, and just finding some stillness. And I was just mentioning that, there's an art to self-care and that we need to maintain that. And so that's what we were doing in that space together.
Beautiful, thank you. Gabriella, I'm so sorry, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Apologies, thank you.
Thanks.
We talked a little bit about what posters are, and we looked very carefully at a poster for Woodstock, which is kind of one of the most famous posters, and then we created our own posters that have to do with justice and love and freedom, some of the major themes of that poster. And then we shared those a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we still have about 11 minutes on the call, and I believe that Gabriella is going to lead us all in a little bit of a reflection. So Gabriella, take it away.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have time for this reflection because in my session, as we were sort of reflecting on our creating, we ended. So, and Lisa, I heard you giggling when we came back in. So I'm wondering if in your group also it was, you ended. I mean, I knew it was coming, but it always comes too soon. But we are going to open up a word cloud that offers us the opportunity to each input a word as a response to 2 questions, because we're kind of curious to know what came up for you. So the first question is, today in our session, we used words as the basis for art and movement. And in reflecting on the experience that you had, which one word stands out to you? So I think how this is gonna work is that you will click on, or you'll go to www.menti.com. You'll use the code 4472111. All of this information is on the chat. And you can enter in your one-word response. I'm going to do it alongside you in the hope that if there's any issues, I'm able to troubleshoot. So let's give everyone another 10 seconds here. Ooh. I have a feeling some of these words really apply to both of the sessions. It's kind of fun to see as things are percolating for people, they're being entered in here. I know that in our stamping session, as we were making the posters, we were talking about justice and communication, but certainly a lot of these words are applicable. Ideas. So Lisa, I'm sure that breath and breathe and self-care. Oh boy, oh wow, this is cool.
I love it so much. This is so awesome.
I like how it's like an animation.
Right.
Wait, is there a way that we can save this, Kinsey, so that it can be sent around? I think so.
Yes, yes, I'll be able to save it and send it in the email afterward.
Great, and so let's hop over to the next question. You'll enter in a new word. We'll pull up a new word cloud. And this question is, now that we've used art and movement for healing and connectivity or connection to others, what's one word to describe how you're feeling? And I know the goals of our 2 sessions, even though this was the prompt for the session, the goals of our 2 sessions are actually a little bit different. So I'm excited to see what comes up here too. Go for it, type them in. So I think on Lisa's side, there's a sense of calm and relaxation, centeredness, and on the side of the poster making, like a little bit more invigorated and empowered and ready for action. Yeah, and then I think, you know, and to create healing in the world, probably really need both of those things. So I know that Kinsey is going to hold on to these and pass them around at the end. I'll also send around the playlist that I created, so you have some of those songs of freedom and justice. And I'm going to pass it back to the Arts and Education Roundtable staff to close it out for us.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gabriella. Hi, everyone. My name is Kimberly Olson, and I'm the Executive Director of the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. First off, a huge thank you to both Lisa and Gabriella from DreamYard and Poster House, respectively, just for leading 2 incredible workshops and for closing out our summer school series. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be joining such incredible practitioners week after week and bringing professional development and self-care into your homes, into my home, and finding a way to connect our community during this unprecedented time. So while this is our last summer school session for now, we are thrilled to announce that we are launching our kickoff event coming up pretty soon now on September 16th. Just announced today, we are hosting Bridging the Divide, Making Connections Between Personal Impact and Community, and communal change. This will be a conversation between Lisa Yancey, who is an incredible change maker, facilitator, consultant, in conversation with Jarrell Cooper, who is the host of the Flow web series, as well as the CEO of the Cultural Innovation Group. So we hope you'll join us for that. That will be a workshop on how individual action can cause a ripple effect in our classrooms, our organizations, and our community as well. And looking for the year as what are actionable things that we can do to make change in our own communities. After this session, you're going to be receiving an email from us with a survey. I'm sure you're getting a lot of surveys now, but I please ask that you just it should take no more than 2 to 5 minutes to complete. I think Kinsey's posted in the chat. Oh, perfect. We value your feedback. It is because of your feedback that we were able to host this summer series, and I can assure you, I, myself, Kinsey, our programming committee, we read each and every survey response that we get as a way to best serve our community. So if there's a topic you'd like to see us explore, a session facilitator you would love for the roundtable to connect with, please complete the survey and let us know. On the topic of our programming committee, a huge shout out to Jacqueline, Ryan, Danielle, Catherine, and the other programming committee members that have been instrumental in putting on this summer series. The roundtable is able to offer such extensive programming because we are a community-led and community-driven organization. So thank you all so much for your contributions. And I think, Kinsey, did I miss anything?
I don't think so, other than I also just added a link in the chat if you'd like to view the recording of this, which will be posted next week, or any of our previous Summer School 2020 sessions. They are on our website at the link that I just added in the chat. And I think that's it.
Wonderful. So again, thank you all so much. Special shout out to Lisa and Gabriella, our programming committee. And with that, please enjoy the rest of your summer and stay safe. We can't wait to see you all soon. So, bye everybody.